Hello, hello. Welcome to Sunday Stamping with Susan and Julie. I'm Julie Davison, and this is my beautiful mother, Susan LaCroix. We are so excited that you are joining us for today's video. Sunday Stamping with Susan and Julie is our way to share Stampin' Up! Projects with you every single week. And today is Sunday, October 29th, and we're on episode 120 something. We've not missed a Sunday in 2 years, over 2 years. And I think that's really awesome. We've been doing
Yeah,
so great and having so much fun sharing each week. So the idea is that we take the same products and we each make a project with it. And I just love how our projects are so different, but then other times they're so similar. We tend to pick, unless we plan ahead of time, we tend to pick the same pattern and use the same colors without knowing it. And it makes me smile. We live a couple states away. I wish that we could stamp together in person more often,
I do too.
but we have to settle for Zoom. But that means I get to share it with you. So that is so fun. How you doing, Mom?
I'm doing great. I do believe this is episode 126.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, I'm doing great. When this airs, I will be down in Athens, Ohio, visiting your brother, Mark, and his wife, Angie. Unfortunately, we haven't been down there since before COVID. And
Really? Not long.
yes, and it's like, we've been wanting to get down there. It's a beautiful little area,
It
so
is.
anyway, we planned this. This is like the third time we've had to reschedule it. And Mark called on Monday, Tuesday. It was yesterday. And they were out to brunch on Sunday with some friends and their kids. And one of the kids was just kind of cranky and whatever,
Oh,
and went to
oh
the
no.
oh yeah, and has COVID.
Ah,
So at this point, we're still planning on going. However, Mark and Angie will test at least once, if not twice, before we
yeah.
hit the road, so that we'll know whether or not to go or reschedule again.
Oh no.
Just cross that we make it. He and I talked earlier today, and everything's fine so far. They're not symptomatic with anything, but they will still test. He said we went out and bought 10 kits because we
Ah,
figured we'd be testing a lot in the next several days. So anyway, that's so fingers crossed that we can make it. So if I'm not live, it's probably because I'm down enjoying time with Angie and Mark. So we're really looking forward to it.
oh, that's gonna be awesome. I'm jealous because I always love family time, but
Yeah.
hopefully we'll find an opportunity for everyone to be together this winter.
I'm hoping we'll have to figure it all out. But anyway, yes, so that
Yes.
is what we're doing this weekend. We're actually filming this early, as we mostly do. And yeah, so that's where I
We
am.
we have a friends and family weekend at Claire's College, and so we past tense. We got to see her yesterday on Saturday. And I'm sure it hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure we had a wonderful visit and we look
Yes.
forward to winter break when she's back home with us because we just miss her so much.
Well, give her a big hug from us, and
Well,
maybe our Happy Mail will have arrived there in the form of some Cheryl's cookies for
oh,
Halloween.
what a treat. She's going to love
So
it. Thank you so much for
yeah.
sending that.
That's okay. I was gonna send some to Anthony too, and to the Navy base, but sometimes it takes a long time for him to get packages. So I have something else that I'm gonna pop
Mm.
and let him know it's coming to watch for it. So
Nice.
anyway, yeah.
Well, I'm
I
ready to start stamping. We're taking a little break from all the Christmas stuff to share some sneak peeks with you. So, without further ado, let's switch the desktop camera and you can share with us what we're going to use today.
all right. Well, a couple times a year, Stampin' Up releases some product and they're calling it the online exclusives. And just to be clear, that it doesn't mean you have to order it online. You can order it through me if you don't like to shop online, but you can only see it online. So I did print off a brochure. This is demonstrator pre-order time right now through the end of the month. And then on November 7th, the products will drop. And we were only able to order a few items. There'll be plenty more on November 7th. So my printer didn't double side this like I had asked it to. So I have two sheets to show you what we were able to order. This, and I don't think you can see it real well. I'm going to show it to you live and in person. This is the Meandering Meadow Suite collection. And oh, wait till you see this paper. It is, oh, I just love this. And I would encourage you, if you love it as much as I do, don't wait to order it. So anyway, this is page 1. So, and this is what we're using today, the Meandering Meadow Suite. So here's kind of a look at the sheet. So it's got the stamp set and the dies and this gorgeous designer series paper, some embellishments of some birds and dragonflies and some ribbon. The other bundle that we were able to order, and I think we're using this next week, Julie, I believe so.
Yeah.
The Fluffiest Friends, and this is absolutely adorable. So I'm not going to spend any time on that. I'm going to concentrate on the Meandering Meadow. So we will have the order numbers for the items that we use today in our description for you. All right, so let's take a peek at what we've got here. So here's
A quick little note, just in case people fall in love and just have to have it right now. Demonstrators can pre-order right now, but new demonstrators who join in October can get these items in their starter kit. So that is super exciting. If you can't wait and just want to get them right now, you can join as a demonstrator and get any of the items that we're showing you in your starter kit with the 35% off or 35% extra products. Such a great deal this month.
Thank you for that reminder, Julie. There's just like so much going on that, it's hard to keep up with everything. Anyway, here is the stamp set, Garden Meadow. It is a photopolymer. There are 16 stamps in here. So there's this fence or this gate. We've got some of the wellies, some gardening tools, watering can, even some little birds, and some great greetings. I can't imagine having a better friend. Happy birthday, with just 2 separate stamps. Thinking of you, every day is a fresh start, and hello. And then the dies that coordinate with this, there is a set of 15 dies. So you've got this arched window or arch, depending on how you use it. You can die cut out the gate, the boots, the watering can, pretty much all the stamped elements, plus, well, this arch isn't a stamped element. Plus, you've got some grasses, or you can turn them around and use them as mountains. I think that's what Sarah Douglas did when she was showing.
Oh.
So you can use that in a number of ways. So very versatile, I think. Okay, before I get to the star of the show, I'm going to share what else we have. This ribbon. This is supposed to be pecan pie and like vanilla with some stitching. But, as I look at it, it looks more crumb cake to me.
I think so too. But I love it. I think it's really pretty and soft.
It is. It's soft. It's easy to tie. It's kind of got this textured weave to it as well. I don't know how well it's picking up on camera, and if my camera's going to do weird things.
It is trying to focus, but you can kind of see the texture on it.
Yeah, good. Okay. And then here are the embellishments, of course, which I have been using. Some dragonflies, and then the birds. One set of birds is going in one direction, and the other set of birds is going in the opposite direction. So I think that's kind of fun. So those are the embellishments that come with the suite. Okay, are you ready? Move this out of the way. Look at this paper. It's like oil paintings, I swear. Almost a Monet,
Yeah, there was a behind the scenes video during not vacation, same school, World Card Making Day. And they showed like how they showed an artist like making it, and she used oil pastels to create these amazing scenes, like just absolutely gorgeous.
So you get it's 6x6 paper. You get 48 sheets. So you get 4 each of however many designs that is.
12.
4 to 12 designs. So yeah, you get a lot of paper. And the back side, or the B side, is just kind of neutral, like brush strokes. but they all kind of have the same tones and colors. Oh, and I should have read off the, I will find the colors that are in this paper because there's a ton of them.
I have my package right here. There is a ton of them.
Yeah.
It is balmy blue, basic black, blueberry bushel, cherry cobbler, crushed curry, fresh freesia, garden green, granny apple green, Highland Heather, lemon lime twist, melon mambo, night of navy, orchid oasis, pecan pie, petal pink, pumpkin pie, and shaded spruce.
Yeah. So just bring all of your pads to your table where you're stamping.
Yeah. I keep thinking, oh, that one's my favorite. That one's my favorite. But I don't know. Then I pick another one because they're all so beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. So the B side you can use to coordinate with, and I'll show you on one of my samples what I did. I was making an anniversary card for a very special couple. And I sort of cased Sarah's idea. So there we go. Aren't they gorgeous? They are simply stunning. All right. So I'm going, oh, you know what? There's one more thing to share before I share my samples. We were also able, this wasn't on a flyer, but we were also able to order this
Oh,
glimmer.
yes.
And it's 12 by 12, and you get 2 each of these 3 colors. So it's Highland Heather, Petal Pink, and Peacock. Pretty peacock.
Oh, I love those. And I think they coordinate really nicely with the designer paper. I don't know if they were intended to be. They're not part of the suite, but I think they go pretty well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's why I wanted to bring it up because I mean, if you just look like this one, you could
Yeah.
go with this one or this one. I guess even this one. But I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many that you could use. Just yeah. You I have no words. No words. All right, let me show you a couple of samples very quickly, and then we'll flip it over for Julie. So I made this one for my brother for his birthday.
Oh, nice.
I actually cased this from Sydney, Sarah's daughter, who just took a sheet and just cut 1-inch strips and then tore the tops and bottoms. And this is actually the brown that's behind here is the flip side of this paper. So I use that as a mat for the happy birthday greeting. And I lost a dragonfly. I only see 2.
Love it.
And then for my daughter-in-law's birthday, because I was late on all of these, I'll be honest, was this one. And this one I think is my favorite because it has daisies in the field. So, and I use some of that glimmer paper behind the happy birthday, and then you open up the fence, and there's a
Aw.
basket for her. So that's what I sent to Angie. And then for this very special couple who celebrated I made this one.
I
So
love it.
this green is the back side of this paper. So blueberry bushel is my card base, and I use the paintbrush embossing folder. And then again, took some of that Highland Heather glimmer paper as a background for happy anniversary, and threw some birds on there as well. So those are the samples that I've been making, including the one I'm working on that I'm going to show today. So Julie, are you ready, honey?
Yes, I am ready. Let's see here. Replace spotlight. I have some samples too to show you. Another little sneaky peeky. So this is a graphic that Stampin' Up! Released for online exclusives, and so you might have seen this out there. I'm sure Mom and I have both shared it, and it's got some of what we just saw, the Meandering Meadow, but also some things that we haven't had access to, including the
Oh,
Softly Said stamp set, something back here that says of art, kind of looks like background pieces,
oh,
and some images and dies up here. So if you're a demonstrator, you're not going crazy. We haven't seen those things. We haven't been able to order them yet. It's just a little peek of what's coming when all of the online exclusives are released November 7th. And Stampin' Up! Has said that the Meandering Meadow and everything on the flyer are things that they intend to restock. So if you can't get this gorgeous paper and it sells out right away, it is coming back. So you don't have to worry about that. A lot of the other online exclusives are kind of just while supplies last, and if things are really popular, they will restock them. But they did say that about the things on the flyer. So just
okay.
kind of a little reassurance that you can get them with confidence. Well, before we get started with our cards, I just wanted to share some of the samples that I've made. Here's one using the wheelbarrow and some of the pieces of designer paper. I've got Balmy Blue as the card base color, and I just used some Stampin' Blends to color in here. I picked up some Bubble Bath, but I really think that the color we're seeing in the paper is Fresh Freesia, but sometimes those colors are so similar anyway. Here's another one. You know how I feel about coloring. So this one is no coloring. Just stamp some of those images kind of in a block and then put designer paper on the background. So the designer paper goes all the way to the edges. Very clean and simple on that card. Here's one I shared with that arch. I die cut it. Looks very similar to the card you made, Mom, and the painted texture
Oh, yeah.
backgrounds. I love this paper. Just so many ways to show it off. And this one is really simple because I really wanted the designer paper to be the star and really shine. And so this is just 4" by 5¼ for the designer paper, adding a little sentiment and some of those brass dragonflies on there. So today I'm going to show you how to make a bridge card. This is something that I've made before. It's been a little while, and I just thought it'd be a fun way to show off this designer paper that coordinates. But I can't decide between these two patterns. So I've got some Fresh Freesia as my card base color, and so I tried to pick two different patterns that have Fresh Freesia in it. And I'm just realizing I did use this pattern over here for that card, so maybe I should use this one. But Mom, what do you think? I'm going to have you help me pick.
Use the one on the right.
This one?
Yes.
A wonderful choice.
Thank
All
you.
right, so we're going to start with some cutting because in this bridge card, we kind of want the scene to all come together and be seamless. Did I use the word seam twice there? That sounded funny in my head. Anyway, I'm going to start by, I really want a lot of the flower pattern to show. And so the whole thing is only going to be about 4", which is right here. And so that's cutting off a lot of the flowers. So I want to bring it up a little bit and then I'll cut off some at the top. So I want to see more of that flower down there. I'm going to go 4" here. And that is going to be kind of the main focal point. So on our bridge card, we have a card base. I should have done this first, I guess. We got 4¼ by 8¼ and then it's scored at 1 5/8", 2 3/4, 5½ and 6 7/8. I know it's kind of hard to see on camera, but a bridge card is going to have these, and this looks like a gatefold card right now. I'm going to show you. And then you'll understand how I'm cutting the paper. So we're going to have this sort of, it's almost like a diorama card, and there's going to be a piece that bridges the two sides together. And so it's sort of the finished card is going to kind of be like this and stand up. So we're going to cut a paper for here, a paper for the inside, and a paper for over here. And when it's all together, we kind of want to keep that scene like it is on the designer paper. And so we're going to start with the side over here. And so I'm going to cut that. Our first strip is 1 3/8". So I'm going to cut off 1 3/8", and that's going to be for right there. And actually, it looks like it needs to be more like one. I'm going to cut off the other side. Sorry, I got that wrong. 1 1/4. I think that's right. 1 1/4. Okay, so I cut the extra little bit off the end so that we would still be seamless here. Our next cut is at 2 1/2 inches, and that's what's going to go in the inside of our card here. And so then the next one is going to be 1 1/4 for the other side, and that's going to go on this side over there. So when the card is kind of up like this, you still get that same scene that we got from the whole sheet of paper. I have a little bit of designer paper left from the bottom, and so I want to just take like a 1/2 inch or so, and I want to use this design on the bottom of the back piece. This seems like such a short piece, but I guess that's right. So this is for the back side where you'll be able to write your message. It's 2 1/2 inches by 4 inches. And I've added a little piece, a 1/2 inch by 2 1/2 of the designer paper to go along the bottom and just to kind of bring that to the back side. So let me move the paper cutter out of the way, and we'll go over the rest of the pieces and work on getting our card put together. So that's for the back side. I don't need that. I have a piece that is 1 inch by 5 1/2 of that glitter paper, and this is going to go across. It's going to go across the front and kind of bridge those pieces together. And then I stamped the gate onto crumb cake cardstock and used a little crumb cake Stampin' Blend to color that in. So that's ready. And then I have a 1 3/4 inch circle, and I stamped and cut out a basket of flowers, and I'm going to color it because I wasn't sure which paper we were going with. So I didn't color it ahead of time. I'm just using my regular Stampin' Write markers to color because the little spaces are so tiny that I don't think you necessarily need to have the Stampin' Blends. And you have a lot more control over over the Stampin' Write markers with the tip. So I'm just kind of adding some color to the leaves first. And then since we picked this paper, I'm going to do some yellow flowers and some fresh freesia flowers. And for the basket, I have some, I did pick the crumb cake because it's a bigger area, the Stampin' Blends, because I wanted just to be able to blend those colors a little bit more. So I'm starting with the light and then coming back in with the dark and just kind of getting, I know it's so hard to see on camera because, because it's so tiny.
Fine. It's fine, Jay.
And then because my card base is the fresh freesia, I want to make most of the flowers be fresh freesia, but I also wanted to put in some of the yellow flowers in there, so the crushed curry, just to kind of bring in that color. So there's our basket of flowers that are colored in to coordinate with our designer paper. I'm realizing that I forgot, it's going to go in with the darker one. I forgot the rim of the basket here, so I'm just going to kind of bring in some of that color. Sorry, my dog. Oh, Bella's coughing.
Oh,
All right, for our sentiments, I have for the front, every day is a fresh start. That's going to go on the 1 3/4 inch circle. And then for the back side, which is going to be like the inside of the card, the thinking of you. Okay, it's time to put our card together. I'm going to bring in some tear and tape and some seal and some Stampin' Dimensionals. So let's start first with all the designer paper pieces. And I already went over the measurements. We'll put them all in the video description for you so that you can follow along and create this card at home if you'd like. And then on the back side, we're going to add that panel. And if you wanted to, you could make this be more like a card and, like it could have sort of like an easel that, sits back like this. Next up, we have our glitter paper, and I'm going to come pretty much all the way to the bottom. But with this, I want to use some tear and tape to really make sure that it stays on well. And I'm going to add the tear and tape to the side panels over here. Two tear and tape pieces will still fit within the width of our paper, and I just want to make sure that I've got as much adhesive to keep these intact as possible. Now the bridge card does fold flat to fit inside a regular envelope, and so when I put on this bridge piece, I'm going to fold one side and keep the other side flat, and this is what it's going to be like when it goes in the envelope. So I'm going to make sure that it fits well like that. And I don't know how, I'm just a little bit off. I'm going to just trim that. And so then it opens up and that holds the two pieces and bridges them together. So it folds flat. And this whole length is 5.5, so it'll fit inside a regular envelope. And I did try to cut and see if I could do these panels here, but there wasn't enough width on the 6x6 paper to cover panels to fill in all those gaps. But I think when the card is open like that, you still get the full scene, so it works out okay. We're going to add the gate and the basket and the circle here, and I'll use some Stampin' Dimensionals.
Lovely, just lovely.
Yeah. I we
Done a
were
bridge.
talking earlier. Sometimes I just struggle so much designing cards, which I know you guys are like, "Oh, that's crazy." But you don't see when we're in our stamp rooms by ourselves, and sometimes it just doesn't like work out in our heads like it does like it does in our minds. And so today was just one of those days where like it wasn't coming together the way I wanted it to, but
But sure ended up beautiful.
oh, thank you. I think it was just a matter of like getting the colors right. And so I'll show you my other one. I think I like these colors a little bit better with the fresh freesia. So I just have kind of layered them there. And unfortunately, I think the thing that I am disappointed about is it does cover up a lot of the flowers. And so in hindsight, maybe I should have come a little bit higher with the designer paper. Um, and that's a choice you can make, right? You can have as much of that showing as you want. When it is on the table, I think in person it's a little easier to see the flowers that are inside, but so many ways that you can mix and match and use the different papers to create a scene. So we're not done though. We got to add some bling. And so we're going to add some birds from the adhesive back, birds and dragonflies. I'm so excited about this sequel because we have loved the butterflies, the brush bass butterflies, and so this is sort of like the same um the same in the same family of embellishments here. I think they're just so fun. All right, so here is the version that I made. Here's the one I did earlier, and it was just a different piece of designer paper. And again, I just wish you could see a little bit more of the flowers. So I think that's where I was kind of struggling. But this is what it would look like to do all fresh freesia flowers. I kind of like the mix since that is what's on the designer paper. All right, well, that's the bridge card. I hope that you like it and that you'll give that fold a try, whether you're using the Meandering Meadow or any designer paper that you have at home. I can't wait to see your card, Mom. You've got a little bit of a fun fold for us too, don't you?
I do. So yes, and I need the paper trimmer as well. So this is the piece that I chose, and I've got Highland Heather. So this is a little bit different. This is actually cased from Rachel Tessman. And but she did this months and months ago. There was another paper that had like scenes in it, and I think that's the one she used. Okay, so our card base, we actually have two pieces to the card base. This one is 5.5 by 7.25, and it's scored at 3 inches. And then we have a piece that is 4.25 by 4.25, and it's scored at 1 inch. And this is going to kind of fold over this way. And then this will come this, well, I want it this way. Okay. All right. So these pieces are done. I'm going to set them aside. For the inside piece, we have 4 inches by 5.25, which I've already stamped. And we have another piece, 1.75 inches by 3 inches, which is, I've already got that one stamped as well. I really wanted to focus on the designer paper and cutting and scoring this. All right. So here is our piece of paper. And I actually typed up a tutorial for this so that I could kind of remember better. Okay. Oh, I got ink on it. All right. So the designer series paper, which you want to note, we're gonna cut it in half. So let's just start there. So we're gonna cut it at 3 inches. And then we're going to treat each of these separately because we want to keep them intact in terms of for the continuity, like with Julie's card as well. All right. So on this left piece, I'm going to trim 1/4 inch off the left side. I just turned mine upside down. So 1/4 inch off this side. All right. So now I want an 1/8 inch off the top. Okay. So this is 6 and I'm coming right there and cutting that off. There's very little waste in this card using this paper. All right. So now I want to cut to 5.25 and I'm cutting from the bottom to make it 5.25. Okay. So the left piece is done. I'm going to just set those over there for now. Now we're going to work on the right piece. So I want to cut 3/4 inch off the top. So I'm going to come down here, cut this off. And then I want to cut it down to 4 inches. And again, I cut from the bottom. So I'm going to measure this at 4 inches. And you want to keep all these pieces because we're going to use them all. All right, I'm done with this. So let's just move this over so you can kind of see where it came from in the 6x6. I hope this is a helpful visual. There you go. So that's what you want to have when you're done cutting. And then as I mentioned before, these 3 little pieces are waste. So not bad. All right. So now we're going to stamp our inside greeting, which we did. The thinking of you, and I stamped some little flowers and colored them. And in our front greeting piece. All right. So now we're going to take this piece and we're going to, oh shoot, I wanted to put this on the other side. Oh, doggone it. Doggone it. I'm going to do it. Sorry about this, guys.
That's okay. It's always good. It's always good to see, right, how we deal with oopsies. And there are we always say, right, there's 2 sides to every paper.
Yes, there is. So, and you'll see why I need it on the left side versus the right side when I'm done. All right. So I'm going to take Thinking of You in Highland Heather. I need to move it down to where I can see a line. So forgive me for 1 minute while I do this. So that great. Okay. And I'm going to take my memento. Oh, good. I kept my blends out. I was like, oh, no, please don't tell me I put my blends away. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and just stamp this in the corner. That's a little crooked, but you won't mind, Julie. Oh, all right. And let me get out. So I use the light colors of Highland Heather and the light mossy meadow. And so all I want to do is, on my camera. Okay. And I just want to kind of color some of the mossy meadow. And take some of the Highland Heather. And I'm using the new bullet point side, which I just love. And Julie, I know this is driving you crazy. I forgot to close the ink pad. I'll get it.
Well, are these the Stampin' Blends though? They don't have a new side.
No, my ink pad over here. Oh,
I know,
yeah.
I know.
Oh, you're right. It's the Stampin' Right markers. Yes, you're right. Okay, done.
You could use those too, and it's a great bullet point, yes.
You could. Oh, all right. So that's the inside I want. And I want to center this. So I want this kind of in the center of this. This is going to then go in here. And we're going to center the inside piece as well, so that when you fold it over, you've got that effect. All right. So I'm going to take some tear and tape. Put it on the inside. Now, I didn't watch Rachel's video from the spring, so she may have had some other tips and tricks, but I just fell in love with this. And Julie and I were talking before, and I think we've done this before. I think what makes this different is the fact that the paper we're using has kind of scenes on it. And so that kind of, I think, almost changes the dynamics. All right, so I want to make sure that this is centered. And I'm kind of going a little bit past the score line here, or, inside that score line, so that it folds, because it does need to fold. Okay, so now we're going to put this on here. That should do it. Ah. All right. So now we're going to take our designer series paper. So the smaller piece I'm going to put right here. Oop. Almost out of steel in this room here. See if I can get through this card with it. I'm going to center that there. And then this one is going to go here. All right. Then on this piece, this is going to go on the bottom. This piece is going on the top.
Oh.
Ta-da. And of course, that leaves this piece for right here.
Nice.
Voila. So there we go. So you've got that. Thinking of you.
Absolutely gorgeous.
So let's put some bling on this. Julie, if you need the tutorial, I can flip it to you. I can send it to you. And we can
Oh,
also
I
put put a link
I
for
yeah,
anybody else
I think we need to get that link
in the
in the
description.
video description.
Absolutely. All right. So let's put some birds on here. So I'm actually, let's see here. How did I want to do this? I'll pull out my other sample. I did it in a different color and use different paper. So, all right. So I think I want one coming here, maybe one. Ooh, come back here. One over here. And then I'm going to put one on the inside. There we go. So 1, 2, 3. Do you think I need a third one out here, Julie?
Um, yeah.
Okay. No problem. There. No, I don't
I
like
think
this.
that's good. And then, well, when you open it, there's only two.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't like the way you ended up here, buddy. So let's put another
Can
one.
you put the third one on the front? Can you put it in a different spot so that it's still there when the card is open? Or yeah, I guess just add another one on the inside.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. So there's 3 in the front. And there, and there. It's nice that they're flat, so you can do that. So there's the card. I think this needs something else too. The hello is awfully small for there, so I have to kind of think about that. I may put some more flowers. But I did one using crushed curry in a different paper with thinking of you. And I'm going to add some more birds too. And then,
Ooh, I like that with the yellow paper.
yeah, yeah.
I am realizing I messed up one of my measurements.
Oh, really?
Ruh-roh. I think I wrote it down wrong. I'm making another card while you're going, and um the first, well, are you done? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I'm
Okay,
back.
I'm gonna flip the camera back over to my desk really quick and replace spotlight. Okay. So I'm making another one. I decided to use that other paper and try to go higher there, and I colored differently to match this paper. And so I was scoring my card base, and 1 5/8 inch is not correct. It should be 1 3/8 inch. And then everything else is right. So we will have the correct measurement in the video description. And so sorry about that little mix up when I was stating the measurements earlier. I had scored it correctly and I had pre-scored it. So that's why I didn't catch it when I was doing the demonstration. So everything else is the same. It's just 3/8 instead of 5/8 inch for that first score line. So sorry about the mix up. Hopefully it doesn't cause any wrong scoring at home. All right, guys, let's flip the camera around and we'll show off our cards together.
Yeah.
Meandering Meadow designer paper is just so beautiful. Like I think we really nailed it with the trying to maximize the paper and not, cover it up and really show it off. Because with gorgeous paper like this, like how can you not, like there's lots of ways to use it where you really can just let the designer paper be the star of the show. And I think this is definitely one of those
I
papers
absolutely.
that need that.
You could even just cover the whole card front with a piece
Yeah.
of it, trim it down, and then just add a greeting and some birds
Yep.
or dragonflies, and no brainer. You can crank out a bunch of cards doing that and making it
Yes.
real fast. So yeah,
48 cards to be exact.
exactly. Do the same thing for every card. Yes.
Oh, this Meandering Meadow Designer paper is part of the online exclusives that are coming up soon. They'll be available for everyone to order starting November 7th, 2023. So that's just another week or two. If you are a demonstrator, you can pre-order everything we showed you today right now on a demonstrator order. If you're not a demonstrator yet, you can take advantage of the amazing anniversary starter kit special to save 35% on the starter kit or get 35% more in your starter kit, including the Meandering Meadow Suite, the designer paper, the bundle, the little birds, everything that we showed you today, you can choose in your starter kit during this special offer, which ends October 31st in
I was
just a couple days.
just going to say, think fast
Yes.
because there's just a few days left, 4 days to be exact. So you really don't want to miss out.
2.5 days.
29. Oh, yeah, 2.5 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, it's gone fast. I cannot believe that November is literally just around the corner in a
Yeah.
few days.
Yes,
Craziness.
it is. Well, we hope you've enjoyed our fun folds today and the beautiful Meandering Meadow Designer Series paper in the bundle. We've both had so much fun playing with it, and I think we'll be playing for a while too.
Yeah.
So, so anyway, we're gonna let you go. And until next Sunday, Stamping with Susan and Julie, have a wonderful week, everybody. Thanks
Bye.
for
Have a great week. Love you, Mom.
love you too, babe.